Hi and welcome. I'm trying to learn biographyology. Today is St. Anne, and after we've done it, we're gonna do leg injury prevention training. And if you participate in the leg injury prevention training, then it's better to get on risk, and this is part 3 of St. Anne. So St. Anne, the feast day is the 26th July, and she's depicted in art through a lily or holding the infant Mary. And there are pictures about her, and that is Giotto di Bondone. Giotto di Bondone has made 2 paintings, for example, has made paintings about her, for example, meeting at the Garden Gate, and the other one, Annunciation to St. Mary, Annunciation to St. Anne, St. Anne. And Albrecht Dürer has made also a painting called Anne with the Virgin Child, And I'm not rehearsing for the presentation. And then she is the she's the patron, that is been called patronage. She's the patron of housewives and pregnancy and woman labor. I think, I mentioned it in the last one, but I don't know the difference, but I think pregnancy is the whole 9 months and labor is when just the birth. That was the idea I got thinking about it. Women in labor and cabinet makers in Canada and childless couples. Grandparents also. And yeah, she's the mother of a child. Now, the paintings are quite complicated, but I wanted to mention that. Meeting at the Garden Gate by Giotto di Bondone. Giotto di Bondone. And Albrecht Dürer has made the St. Anne and the Virgin Child. St. Anne with the Virgin and Child. St. Anne with the Virgin Child. Meeting at the Garden Gate, Giotto di Bondone, and also Annunciation to St. Anne. Okay, who were the people? It was the housewives and the childless couples and the grandparents, and pregnancy and women in labor and cabinet makers in Canada. So we say first all these things, and then we're going to tell the story. I think these things, as we did it also on the page. We then say she's the mother of the Virgin Mary at that point. Maybe we're going to say it at the end. Okay, and now the book of James says about her that she was married to Joachim, and both lived a virtuous and happy marriage, but they were childless, and that led to a social stigma during the time because people thought that they haven't had and we wanted to use the same words here, that they had divine displeasure. And that was implying divine displeasure. Did we skip something? No, I think that is good. But when one time suddenly both got an angelic visitation, and they were told that she was expecting a child, and very expressive and very nice. And when she, happy about the news, ran towards Joachim and met him at the gate of Jerusalem, and is anything written here? On hearing the news and convinced of its truth, Anne rushed to see her husband and embraced him. Embraced him at the Golden Gate of Jerusalem, and they both embraced and hugged at the Golden Gate of Jerusalem. And they vowed to give a child to God. Happy about the news, they vowed to give a child to God. And so when their child Mary was 3 years old, they had given it to the temple priests. And when we want to say that one quote or a bit of it, I don't think we're going to say the rest of it. And Saint John Damascene, and the Bishop Saint John Damascene, the Bishop Saint John Damascene said that their 20 years of barrenness I think Baroness is it. The 20 years of Baroness. The 20 years of waiting, or their chaste and holy life, that their chaste and holy life and virtue and divinity, and 20 years of Baroness were like a preparation for giving birth to a daughter nobler than the angels, for giving birth to a daughter more noble permission, to a daughter more noble than the angels. Let's see the outer thing in the middle. By the chaste and holy life you led together, you have fashioned a jewel of virginity, giving birth to a daughter. Now I think there's something missing in this quote. Okay. Saint John de Damascene. And Saint Anne, the mother of the Virgin Mary, the mother of the Virgin Mary. Now we could try it. We have time for around 2 tries, and these are a lot of things to say. And I haven't really in my head. And I don't have notes, and I have to do it with memory. We could try it, reverse of the last part. Let's just try it. If it doesn't work, we need the time for the neck intervention. Let's try it. Let's just look how far we come and then use that as preparation, then as a rehearsal. Saint Anne. Her feast day is the 26th July, and in art she is symbolized oftentimes through a lily and also through holding the infant Mary. And she is the patron of housewives and of childless couples, of pregnancy, women in labor, grandparents, cabinet makers, and of Canada. And there are some paintings about her, for example, by Albrecht Dürer. There is Saint Anne with a Virgin and Child, and by Georges de Bondon there is Meeting at the Golden Gate and Annunciation to Saint Anne. And now in the book of James there is told that she was in a relationship and marriage together with Joachim, and both lived a divine and virtuous and happy marriage. But they were childless, and so there was in the culture a social stigma on them which implied that they had the divine displeasure. But then suddenly both got an angelic visitation, and they were told that Anne was expecting a child. And then Anne ran towards Joachim and embraced him then at the Golden Gate of Jerusalem. And the Bishop Saint John Damascene said about that it would be as if that holding of a chaste and holy marriage and happy marriage and divine marriage and virtuous marriage, as if it would be as a preparation for giving them birth to a child more noble than the angels. And now they were happy about getting the child, and so they vowed to give the child then to God. And so when the child Mary, 3 years old, they gave it to the temple priests. And the child was Mary, the Virgin Mary. And so Saint Anne is the mother of the Virgin Mary. Now that is according to the Treasury of Saints by Malcolm Day on the page 10. We had a prepared book that is. Let's look at what's right. I think a Treasury of Saints, and it is 100 Saints for Lives and Times, Malcolm Day. We're going to take it as we have. Okay, Malcolm Day. It wasn't the most perfect presentation because I had to think of it. But maybe this is not so fast so people can follow. So I'm going to stop the second camera. And we're having 6 minutes for an engine permission training. If you stay and participate, first, if you're here for biographyology, you can go to the next part of biographyology, maybe to Joseph, maybe Milfa, maybe someone else. If you're here for neck and prevention training, this is what we're going to do now, but if you participate in this, at your own risk. Having one leg in the air and this finger in the front and back, having a flex foot. And the other leg up and swing it in front and back. Out to the side. And now the flexed foot, front and back. And now with the other leg, front and back. And the next exercise, plank pill crawl. Leg up, breathe in, out to the side, again in, out into the middle, and down, again up, out to the side, again in, and down, and again the other leg up, breathe in, out to the side, again in, out into the middle, and down, again up, breathe in, out to the side, again in, out into the middle, and down. And now the direction for you. Breathe in, leg up, arms out, breathe in, out, go with the hands over to one side, and over to the other side. Breathe again in, out into the middle, and now with the confused direction for you, bring the leg over to one side and with the hands to the other direction. And change. Into the middle, and down, and now with the other leg. Leg up, and go over to one side with the hands. And into the middle, and to the other side. Into the middle, and now the confused direction for you, with the leg over to one side, and with the hands over to the other side. And change. To the middle, and down. Now leg up, and we're pressing with the knee up to the side, tall up, and square hips. Tall up with the back. And with the other leg up, and the knee pushes up to the side, square hips, and pull up with the back. And the next exercise, we bring on one leg, and we're turning over to the side where the leg is as far as it's possible. When we're going down, over to the other side as far as it is possible, up again, and down, and then around. Over to the side, down, out to the other side, again up and down. Now with the other leg. Over to the side where the leg is, down, to the other side as far as it's possible, up again, down, and then around. Over to the side, down, over to the other side, up and down. And one more, the clock on one leg and count front, and quarter in front, to the side, up back, to the other leg, and to the side, also in the front, the other side in front, now with the other leg, front, and quarter to the side, half, quarter back, and straight back, quarter to the inside, and half to the inside, and also quarter in front and half in front. And now the pipette, one knee onto like one heel onto the ground, and bring the leg up just with the movement out of the hips. And we're changing, heel up and down. And the next exercise is stamp, leg up and down, flex foot. And the other leg up, down. And now the horse. Leg in and back, in and back. And with the other leg, in, back. Now you can continue with the horse or the camel. Bring your leg up and then you bring it down, but the whole body moves down. And another step. And with the other leg, knee up, back. And last exercise. Let's try kicking out our legs wide apart. We're breathing down, down. And breathe out. In. And out. Last one. Breathe in. And out. Breathing across the legs. And breathe again out. That was the leg in your conversion training. Thank you very much. See you next time.